Welcome to Love and Success from the Boardroom to the Bedroom, 3 ways to amp it up in 2017. I'm Kate Northrup. I'm really excited to have my guest, Terri Cole, with me. She is an amazing psychotherapist, a transformational coach, an incredible woman, and the woman I have on speed dial when I'm in a marriage SOS. And so I wanted to share her wisdom with you today and a little bit of my own love and success story. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Okay, stand by. What just happened?
Or do we just
It just happened. Okay. Hi, everybody. Can you still hear me? Okay, great. Sorry, guys. I just lost my slides, but we're going to get them right back.
technical difficulty?
Technical difficulties. It is Mercury retrograde. It's great. And here we are back. And I don't know why they're not letting me. Oh, here we go. Okay, great. Here we're on. So a couple of gentle suggestions to get the most from our time together. You took the time to come here live, and I really want to take a moment to acknowledge you for that, because there's a lot of other things you could be doing, and you've carved out this time for yourself. And honestly, that's a first huge step. So number one, don't multitask and turn off everything except for this webinar, because we want to make sure that you are focused and that you don't miss the golden nugget that you came here to get. Number two, give yourself the gift of your own presence. So together, let's all take a deep breath. Yeah, it feels really good. So we're going to give ourselves the gift of our own presence. You made the time to be here, so really be here. And then number three, set your intention to come to this information with beginner's mind and an open heart. So we may be reviewing some information you already know, but a lot of it's going to be new. And either way, the best way to integrate new information or even existing information in a deeper way is to remain open. And then breathe, release, and renew, because this work is not for sissies. Right? This is, I don't really want to say it's hard work, but it's necessary work, and it is not for the faint of heart, because real love is also not for the faint of heart. Am I right, Terri?
True story, sister.
Okay, awesome. So you are in the right place if you want love and success, and that means having a healthy, juicy, long-lasting romantic relationships, plus financial abundance and career fulfillment. So if that describes you, you're in the right place. You're tired of the compare and despair syndrome, because let's all be honest, we all do it and it feels like crap. So we're going to talk about how to cut that out, and actually how to make it work to your advantage, believe it or not. And then you also want to learn how to communicate what you want with ease, grace, power, and levity in the bedroom and the boardroom. Okay? That's Terri's special area. So stay tuned, because there is a free gift at the end of this session, and it's a 21-day real love guided meditation series. And Terri has the most beautiful meditation voice, so you'll really want to check that out. Okay, so here's what you're going to learn in this masterclass today. Number one is how to talk straight. Learn to communicate what you want with ease, grace, power in the bedroom and the boardroom. This is my favorite thing, really, because it's the thing that Terri has helped me with the most. I am a chronic avoider of all kinds of conflict. And honestly, if I never had to have a conflict with anyone, I would love that. But the reality is, living with other human beings means needing to have straight talk. And doing it with love and grace is really important. So Terri's going to teach us how to do that. We're going to talk about stopping the compare and despair syndrome. And we're going to talk about creating your unique success blueprint for success in love and business, because it's not the same for everyone. And when you think it's supposed to be the same as your girlfriend or as your mother or as the girl you follow on the internet, that's what's going to make you feel like you're off track all the time. So we're going to rewire that so you can get on your own path, your own unique path. So I used to think that it was not possible to have love and success at the same time. I'm a child of divorce, like many of you. I don't have the perfect role models for love. I'd love to know, let me know in the question box, did you have the perfect role model for love? Anyone want to? No?
Just yes
Nobody?
or no. Just let us know.
Yep, let us know if you did or if you didn't. Um, we've found, and we'll talk about this later, that most people actually did not have the perfect role model. And I'm going to say pretty much nobody did, because what is
Hmm.
the perfect role model? I'm a child of divorce, like I said. Just when my mom's career was taking off, she was on the Oprah show for the first time. Her first book, Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom, was hitting the New York Times bestseller list. Right at that same time, my parents got divorced. And so I sort of downloaded this belief that you could have wild success. I mean, I have an awesome blueprint for career success, but that if you got really successful, that you couldn't also romantically. And so I played that out. I'm still really close with my mom. I live 10 minutes down the road from her. And I played that out in my own life. So I dated guys who really didn't show up. I either would be fully in my romantic life or fully in my career, and found it very difficult to do both at the same time. So I played out this belief that you either have love or you could have success, but you couldn't have both. But I really realized I wanted both. So just because I didn't have the role models for it didn't mean that I couldn't have it. And I knew I could probably figure this out. So I decided to create a new story for myself. I come from a line of very strong women. This is me and my mom and my sister and my grandmother. And again, really strong blueprint for career success, but I knew that it had to be possible to have both. And I knew I wanted that, because I knew I wanted to have a really strong family as well. And so I decided to go about changing my own story. First of all, I had to even unearth the fact that I had this belief that love and success weren't possible. And then going through and actively deciding to make some of the changes in order to create a new reality for myself, different than the one I had seen with my parents. Now, the very short version of this not so short story is that I was able to change this blueprint in my own life. This is my parents walking me down the aisle. It's been an incredibly healing journey, not only for me personally, but also I found that, just like that Marianne Williamson quote about when we are willing to be as powerful as we can be and be as much in the light as we can be, we actually give others permission to shine their light as well. I've found that healing this in myself has helped others heal around me, and it's been really cool to see that healing partially between my parents as well. I mean, they're not going to get back together, but just to have like a healthy relationship and to be able to do the forgiveness work and understand that just because we want something different from what our parents had or what we had, it doesn't make them wrong. It doesn't make us wrong. This is not about the blame game. And Terry's going to talk more about this later about self-acceptance. But this is just about doing the healing work so that you can create the reality that you want, because you can create the reality that you want. This is my dad and I at our wedding, my wedding, not his wedding. So I really started using the tools and skills that I learned from relationship experts like Terri Cole to attract a really great guy who I'm now happily married to. And I want to say that these skills are not something that I learned growing up because I didn't have the model. And these skills are not something that I learned in school because nobody teaches that. So they're things I learned along the way. And if I can learn them, you can learn them. And they're not a mystery, right? It's not magic, it's psychology. Indeed. And so that's why we have Terri here. So this is my husband, Mike. This is us with our baby girl. Last year when she was born, she's now 15 months old. And I am happy to say that I put in the work every day to continue to create a relationship that really works with a guy that I also work with. So we are having that reality that I dreamed of having success and love at the same time. So I'm here to tell you it is possible, and I rewired my own belief around that. So we're going to give you now our best strategies for getting what you want in love and success. Are you ready? If you're ready for them, I would love you to tell me in the question box. Just give me a yes. Give me a big old yes. Tell me you're ready, because we are about to dive in and get started. All right, so number one strategy, talking straight, learning how to communicate what we want with ease, grace, and power and love in the bedroom and the boardroom. So for those of you who got the email about this session I told you a recent story about how I called Terri Cole shaking because I was so mad at Mike because we had gotten in a fight about stuffed peppers. Now, it may or may not be obvious to you that it was not about the stuffed peppers, because there's no way I would get that mad about something that he said to me about who was going to make the stuffed peppers. It was really about a lot of other things. And when I called Terri, she helped me to understand what that was really about. So I'm going to turn it over to you because she helped me to see Mike and the situation through the eyes of love as opposed to through the eyes of fear and anger, which is where I was at until I talked to you for a couple minutes.
Well, the first thing that we did, and I think in any situation that you guys find yourselves in, is that you have to raise your awareness that if you're so pissed off about stuffed peppers and who's going to make them, that you're shaking, that it couldn't possibly be about stuffed peppers. That there's something else that's driving that anger and that experience. So with Kate, I was able to sort of talk her off the ledge in first saying, okay, even just being able to acknowledge it's not about stuffed peppers, where at first she was kind of like, no, it actually kind of is. And I was like, that's definitely not. So that's off the table. Like, that's not what it's about. And then knowing, of course, that they were new parents and knowing that, their life had changed a lot in a 1 year period of time, that I knew that there were other things that were fueling this. And I also knew, because I know Kate very well, and Kate is like me and like many, many high functioning women. They're high functioning and can do everything, but don't ask for what they need very clearly. They would love it if everyone could read their minds. I wonder if any of you wish that people could read your minds about what you need and what you want. And that in her mind, she really thought that she'd been super clear with Mike about the stuffed peppers and the timing of when they were going to make them because of wherever they needed to go. And she actually wasn't. And when she and I were able to unpack, I was like, okay, but if it wasn't about stuffed peppers, what would it be about? She was able to then reveal, oh, this is really what it's about. Too much togetherness with too much working together and living together and co-parenting and all these other areas where she kept hoping that he would get the hint of what she wanted him to do, read her mind, pick up that crazy 8-ball thing and shake it and get the answer of what he should be doing. And what we were able to do in that moment is she was able to realize her part in this miscommunication and how it was serving them. And that made her intuitive, but it isn't, because many, many women, we express our anger in this passive aggressive way because we're afraid to be angry. And we were taught growing up that it's not a very ladylike way to be. You need to be nice. You need to be a good girl, which doesn't include teaching women how to effectively and appropriately express their anger. So when we were able to unpack all of that, your relief was just amazing. And suddenly you were like, wow, oh my God, I totally love him, which I thought was really funny. In the middle of this, how she hated him, but she didn't really. She was immediately being able to come back to, all right, this was my part in it, and suddenly being able to see him and the situation back through the eyes of love, focusing on why she married him, why she created a human with him, and then making the decision to change your communication dance.
Exactly. It was so huge. And you basically said this, right? That, yeah. I mean, when we're getting all screwed up and our wires crossed, it ends up you fight about stupid stuff that's never really about that.
And listen, you guys who are listening know, because you've done it, where you end up, it's so much less threatening to have a fight about peppers than it is to make yourself vulnerable and tell the truth about what you'd like, or make a simple request for your partner to do something for you, because you don't have the, when you're vulnerable, there's a chance that you're going to be rejected, humiliated, embarrassed, hurt. And so we find this way because, Freud says that feelings are like smoke, and human beings are like potbelly stoves, where you can stuff as much crap down that flue. Have you ever done this, you guys? Have you ever had a flue that got backed up? Did that smoke disappear because the flue got backed up? No. The smoke goes everywhere.
Into the house. It's bad.
Yes, and you don't understand. With feelings, when we stuff them down, they come out all these sideways, weird ways, and then you're fighting about peppers.
Yeah. And we had a similar thing happen in our business over the holiday season. So this is not just about your love relationship. This is also in your career at work, where I, again, needed support around something because the peppers ended up being about me needing support and not having asked for it clearly. Once again, I needed support around something in our company. I asked for it and it was like crickets, and I didn't get anything, nothing happened. And then several weeks later, something still hadn't happened. And I got really pissed and went back and realized, you know what? Actually, I hadn't made a clear request like I thought. I didn't give a deadline. I wasn't specific enough. And so it's not that it was all my fault, but it was once again realizing that that clarity in communication, I wasn't doing the straight talk that I needed to.
Mm-hmm. So this brings us to the dance of over and under functioning, right? So most of the time, a lot of the times, it is the woman in a heterosexual relationship who's doing the over functioning. What happens when you overfunction is that your partner meets your dance moves, so to speak, and they underfunction even more. So this brings us to sort of the codependent dynamic of doing too much and then becoming angry and bitter. And so this dance, and this is something that Kate was talking about, she was doing too much, not asking for the help that she actually needed, and ended up being really pissed about peppers, right?
Yeah, and resenting people for not giving me the help I never asked for.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody else ever been in the dance of the overfunctioner before? Let us know in the comments and the question marks.
I know you have, because there's no way that so many of you, if you're attracted to Kate's work, then you probably are a classic overfunctioner. And it's not just overfunctioning work-wise, it's overfunctioning emotionally, and not just with your love relationships, but with your siblings and potentially with your coworkers.
With your mother.
Yeah, indeed, with your mother. And
or someone.
And it's exhausting.
Yes, it is. It is absolutely exhausting. And I'm so happy you were the first one, Terri, to ever introduce me to this concept of overfunctioning. And like you said, when you overfunction, then other people in your life underfunction. And I've been in relationships where one guy said to me, I said, I want you to take the reins. And he said, I would happily take them if you would put them down. And I was just like, okay, great, got it. So, you talked about, Terri, that the reason you're not getting what you want is really because you're not asking for it because you're scared. And why are we scared about that?
We're afraid to be rejected. We're afraid to be embarrassed. We're afraid to be humiliated. The reason people don't want to take a risk and do the safe thing, which is do it themselves or not speak up about something they don't like, is so they can avoid being rejected and having their feelings hurt. But what I say to that, and what I teach my clients and in my courses, is that you are not that fragile. Like you guys, this is your one and only life, right? There's right now, no dress rehearsal. Like we're live right now. This is your life. And even if you're terrified of something like being rejected, the truth is once you change your relationship to that fear, you'll realize this is part of the cost of being a human on planet Earth and living a full life is knowing that you're strong, like you're okay. It's okay for that to happen.
So then what do you do? So you're scared, you want something, and then what?
Well, part of the whatever situation you guys are in. So, we're hitting 3 different things in this webinar, but we're talking about being successful in love and in business, whatever business it is that you choose. In each one of those areas, you have a downloaded blueprint. And basically, I call them blueprints because they're like architectural blueprints for a house that someone else designed a really long time ago and have been handed down through generation to generation to generation. And it's like someone else designed it. So if what you learned in the home that you grew up in about love or about success, as Kate shared before, she learned that you could have one or not the other. And it's not that anyone on purpose taught her that, or the limiting downloaded blueprints I got from my family. They were trying to, nobody did it on purpose, right? So we're not blaming anyone. It's just the truth that what gets downloaded is what you see. So how you can figure out your downloaded love blueprint and your success blueprint is to go back in time. And that's the second bullet point here, is that we're connecting the dots backwards to see, how is this familiar? Where have you felt like this before? How was your parents' marriage, right? In my own parents' marriage, it didn't look like it was a lot of fun. wasn't horrendous. It just didn't look like something that I wanted to do. My mother felt trapped. I could tell. She dropped out of college because she got pregnant. I was their fourth daughter. And my mother's message to me was, get an education, girl, so make your own money so that love can be a choice and not a need slash cage. You know what I'm saying? So that wouldn't make marriage look great to you either. So in changing that, and how you do change that is by being aware of what was downloaded into your mind. How successful were your parents? At what cost? What did that look like? Did they believe that work, that real work, had to be painful? That's a very common belief, that if it isn't hard, you're not really working. And so these are the things that we invite you to ask yourself some empowered questions around both of these areas, and you will start to uncover your downloaded blueprint in love and success.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about what we were just talking about before with speaking your truth, like speaking up, no one can read your mind, I want to get clear about why you do it. You speak your truth not to convince, persuade, or even get your way. You speak your truth because your healing and evolution comes from having the courage to stand up for being authentically known. And this is something that when you are creating your own blueprint in both of these areas, that really is you putting your stake in the ground to be authentically known as a lover, right, romantically, but as a human and in business, doing what really lights you up. It's not about what the other person does. That's another thing that I just wanted to say about this interaction. Not all the time will someone give us what we want. And it doesn't mean they don't love us or we should divorce them or leave them. It just means not all the time we will get it. But it's always worth you being able to speak authentically or make a simple request about what you would like, because that's where your self-esteem, your level of worthiness, and your own being in the world authentically comes from that action.
Amen. It's amazing. Can I get an amen? Let me know if that resonated with you as much as it did with me in the question box. I know.
I'm a little confused about the question box. Anyway.
It's one of those things.
Okay. Just two tech dinosaurs being like, where's the question box? Are people talking? Are we missing it?
No, they're talking.
Okay.
Okay. So in number 2, we want to talk about the compare and despair syndrome. And if this is something you've experienced, like you're flipping through your news feed or you're looking at the lady who lives down the block or whatever and looking and thinking like, well, how come she has that and I don't? You know, let us know if you're experiencing that. And so what's really helped me has been to ask myself, okay, what season of life am I in? So I'm in the season of life where last night, for the first time in 15 and a half months, Penelope slept through the night, which is so amazing. And that hasn't been happening for 15 months. So like, I'm in the season of life of parenting a very small child. And, you know, our business is wherever our business is. And so comparing myself to someone, for example, who might have been in business for 30 years and has 2 kids who are out of the house is probably not wise, because I'm going to end up feeling like a piece of shit if I do that. And comparing, you know, we hear this, comparing your beginnings to someone else's endings or middle, for example. And so asking what season of life are you in, because oftentimes if you get really clear about the season of life you're in and what's appropriate for that season, you may find that you're actually doing really great. And then you can start to look at role models that inspire you for the season of life that you are in. Also, I decided when I got really clear, when I downloaded my blueprint about love and realized like, whoa, I have some beliefs that are not serving me right now, I decided to change my reality by seeping myself in the energy of people who had what I wanted. So instead of comparing and despairing and saying, well, they have it, I don't have it, I said, well, they have it, that means it must be possible. And let me go spend time with them so that I can kind of like get it to rub off on me. So I signed up for a 300-hour yoga teacher training with Colleen Seidman and her husband, Rodney Yee. This is me at my graduation. And wouldn't you know it, the last month of my teacher training, I met Mike. So I just decided to change my reality by stopping talking to my girlfriends about all the examples that proved us right about that you can't have love and success, and instead start looking for examples that proved that limiting belief wrong. And it really worked for me. So
I call that looking for love mentors.
I love that.
And I really give that as an assignment. People actually finding people, even if it's only in books, right? Love mentors, because someone has figured it out. And it doesn't have to be your parents. You can learn it from anyone, right? Anyone who's doing what you want, find out what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's why I like to hang out with Terri and Vic, because, you know, the better it gets, right? Just because I am happily married doesn't mean I can't be more happily married.
Exactly.
And it takes, you know, continuous attention.
Yes.
So next we're going to talk about your unique success blueprint in love and business, because so often we're following the blueprint that was handed down to us, and we're not even conscious that we're following something that we don't even believe in and that's not serving us, you know?
Yeah, so much of the time what I find is that one of the biggest things that my clients are marvel at is the fact that they thought this was just the way the world was, with quotes around it, you know, that this is how men were. My mother was a bit of a male basher, not terrible, but not great. And so she taught me that men were people to be managed, right? Not to be connected to in a heart way. Manage them, make sure they have what they need so they don't bother you, basically. And I was like, wow, that sucks. Like, who wants that? It's so depressing. Every one of you has a unique love story or success story that you want to create. And if the one that was given to you will not set you up successfully to do that, you need to get clear about what it is that you want. So how do you get clear about what it is that you want? There are empowered questions to ask yourself. How do you want to feel on a daily basis in a romantic relationship, whether you're in one or not? You could be single or partnered right now. And all the work that I do actually applies to both groups of people, because it all comes down to you. You're having this experience. You have the power to be different in this experience, which will change the entire experience. So the first thing we talked about was like awareness of how it is, and then awareness of how it got that way. Right, that's how we're connecting the dots backwards. And now you move into really thinking about how do you want it to be? Make the unreasonable, request, as we call it, with quotes around it, because the truth is, if you can think it, if you can dream it, you can have it. Wasn't that Walt Disney who made that up or said that
Something
years ago?
like that.
Years ago, yeah, like a decade ago. I mean, like a century ago. But the point is, it has to come from you. So this is where your unique success and love blueprint come in, is that you have to decide what that is.
So in my case, my mom is currently single. My grandmother is single and actually hasn't been with anybody since my grandfather passed away when she was 50, and she's now 91.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a dry spell.
Yeah, and has had no intention of, people have been interested. But she's she's just not.
She's not on Tinder.
She's definitely not on Tinder. I think my granny could do great, but she doesn't want to. Anyway, she was just like, no, Wilbur was my guy. So I have, these.
Wait, can we just stop?
Wilbur?
Of course. Why don't we have a slide that just says Wilbur? Because we say no more. Of course, Wilbur was her
Wilbur, guy. Wilbur's my granddad. I never had a chance to meet him because he passed when my mom was 25. But so I have this model of really strong, independent women, really strong solo women. And I wanted something different, even though my blueprint, my lineage was one way. And I have to tell you, I made a conscious decision to change the legacy. And when we change a legacy, when we heal something within ourselves, we heal it 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. So, but I will say it was deeply uncomfortable to break free from this family kind of way of being, which is that after my parents got divorced, my mom and I were like thick as thieves. Like, we were the Bobbsey twins. I mean, because my sister also went to college that same year. So all of a sudden it was just me and my mom. We traveled, we literally did everything together, and we were totally enmeshed, including financially up until like my mid-20s. So that's a different session.
But what you're talking about that is so important is differentiating from a family system.
Yes, exactly.
And that it takes big, big ovaries or cojones, whatever you
Mm-hmm.
want to say, to do that, because there's a primal fear of being excommunicated from the tribe. And in our primal fear mind, we could die, right? If our pack rejects us, we could die. So it's not just saying, I'm going to be different. It's being aware that if you are trying to change a legacy in your own family system in this way, that there will be a lot of resistance, not just from the family system, from within you. You have to be very aware that you're not self-sabotaging a great relationship, because unconsciously there may be fear of doing it better than your parents. Will I lose their love? Will I lose their attention? Will I, you're crying already.
Yeah.
She's crying. She's crying. Do you not know this? We already talked about it.
I know, but it's really like, I want you to know, listening, this is big stuff and it does take a lot of courage. And it was being able to have the skills that Terri helped me with to be able to have those difficult conversations with my mom, with my dad, with my sister, and change a legacy. Because, now I have well, just, oh man, I'm going out of order, but I have this baby girl and I really want to be a great role model of love for her. Not too much pressure on myself, but I'm just saying I want to be the best I can be, because it really, like, it pays it forward to the next generation when you realize these things. And I will say, like, I decided to change legacy, and at my wedding, and I will cry when I say this, at my wedding, my dad, during our father-daughter dance, he said, I really feel that you are a healer, Kate, and this event is part of your healing work. And I got that direct reflection that when we are willing to do that healing work, now I'm not going to say it's going to work out every time,
Mm-hmm.
but it will work out on some level. Like, it's not always the perfect happy ending, but at the same time, healing always begets healing. And it's worth it for you, because often when you do this work, you get to have what you want. Like, I have this great marriage, and then there's also amazing things that happen with other people. So part of this, though, has to do with self-awareness. So this is me and Mike, my husband, and then our friend Stu McLaren, and we flew up to Toronto not long ago to do a one-day VIP with Stu. And one of the biggest learnings and takeaways that I had from that session was realizing that I was operating in my business trying to be, in a few specific ways, more like a couple of the women that I admire and aspire to have businesses, their size or with their reach. And I realized that there was one key distinction, that I was cutting out a part of myself and my desire to be really connected with people and really, like, in the comments all the time, and really more of a golden retriever type. Like, I'm a golden retriever type. I want to be friends with everyone. And I realized that I was cutting that part of myself off, because I thought in order to be successful, you needed to become increasingly more distant, which, now that I'm saying this out loud, I'm realizing this is probably connected to that blueprint of, you can either have love,
Yeah.
or you can have success.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Stu really helped me realize that that is part of my secret sauce. Like, the golden retriever in me is part of my success blueprint, and realizing that, like, if I can do that consciously and choose it, and then become self-aware enough to say, okay, I'm good at that, but you know what? I'm really not good at all of these other things. And so then I need to ask for help with them, because I'm not good at all of the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But when we want to create this success blueprint for ourselves in love and in our careers, you said this really great thing, Terri.
Right. To be the waves and not the boat. And what that means is that so much of the time clients will come to me as a psychotherapist or a coach, and they're just getting by in their life. They feel like they're a little teeny boat in, like, a very tumultuous sea, and it's all the energy they have is to just get through the day without drowning, basically. And I teach people to become the sea instead of the boat, meaning with your harnessing the mind-blowing power of your own intention to create the business, the success, and the love life, the marriage, whatever it is that you want. You have the power to do that. Or you wake up every day hoping, with your fingers crossed, that it's a good day, hoping that luck shines its light on you, rather than creating your own luck with the power of your intention and with the realization that you are worthy of your heart's desire.
Amazing.
And back to, if you don't want to end up on the martyr train going to Bitterland, you have to be able to ask for. And this is exactly part of why we are doing this webinar, is to be that help, that whether you ask for it or not, we are providing it, right? And then allow and receive. Most women, so many of the women who come to me, and so many of your demographic, same as my demographic, are super over functioning. Like, you guys are so awesome. You are amazing daughters and partners and sisters and friends. You're a good neighbor. You help, you volunteer, like, you're awesome. And you would rather walk like 5 miles in bare feet than asking someone to do something for you. And what you don't realize in being so not skilled at asking for help and or allowing or receiving it is that you're not only shortchanging yourself, but you're shortchanging all of those in your life. Because the way that helping others makes you feel good and is like great vibe for you, you're not letting anyone else feel good around helping you. Only you get to feel good, right? And if you think of it that way, asking for and allowing people to help you really creates healthy relationships, not martyred relationships, right?
So powerful. Yeah. And when we are willing to do, again, I already touched on this, but I just want to bring it back around. This is
because this picture's so friggin' cute.
Honestly, I just wanted excuses to put pictures of my daughter in this webinar. I'm going to be perfectly honest. But this is my dad with my baby girl, Penelope, and this is my mom with my baby girl, Penelope. And what's been amazing, and never my intention, like, here's the thing. When you are willing to take a look at yourself, get that self-awareness piece, get the self-acceptance piece, do this work, the gifts that come from it are beyond anything you could have imagined. So I didn't imagine how healing it would be to watch my parents co-grandparent and be awesome with my daughter and like show up even for her in ways they didn't show up for me, and how beautiful that has been. And allowing that to happen in my life, and to see how, again, my willingness to step into a new way of being has created a new way of being for everyone. And just like you just said, Terri, like when you ask for help, as an example, you allow others to feel that amazing feeling of showing up for you.
Yeah.
We change our entire community, our entire world, when we choose to step up in a different way. And, you know, having healing with your parents could be one way. It could be something totally different for you. I don't know. And we do this, right? We do this for ourselves, but we do this for the next generation. We do this to create a legacy so that the ones who come after us have it better than we did.
Exactly.
I mean, now becoming a mother, I can understand that on a very, very deep level.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've had the opportunity to have Terri on speed dial to call her up and sit in person and cry and tell her everything that's going on with me and have her help me. And I want that for you too. I mean, not everyone can text Terri all the time, but not that I do. I think I'm actually really respectful, but
you are.
I will say, but like just what to have that. But I want you to have access to these same skills, because like I said, nobody was taught this stuff in school, and very few of us were taught any of it by our parents, or nor did we have that modeled. Right, 67% of us responded that we did not have healthy role models when it came to love relationships.
Right. Like a good model for marriage or connectedness. 67% said it was dysfunctional.
Exactly. So what do we do about that? We become those models for the next generation, and we do that by learning the skills and the strategies that Terri has to offer. And so I'm going to turn it over to you, Terri.
Okay, so why me? Like, I did not come from, like Kate, I came from a dysfunctional family, probably like every person on this call right now on this webinar, because whose family was like super functional? Not many. So exactly what Kate said is like, if she can do it, you can do it. And I feel the same exact way. My parents got divorced. They were high school sweethearts. I was the fourth daughter to a guy who probably needed 4 sons. And so I had the whole I'm the wrong gender thing going on. And really, love did not look that good to me. It looked very much like my mother felt trapped. And so I know that I'm not so special. And as Kate said, like, sure, our parents think we're special, but we're not more special than you. So I know for sure that if I can change my love blueprint, I got so amped about it, but if I can do it, so can you. Now, how did I do it is the question. So I did it with about 25 years of therapy. See those chairs? That's me sitting in one of those, and that's all my money being poured down the drain. And actually, it's not down the drain because what I learned about myself, I could not believe how amped I was when I realized that therapy actually worked. I thought that when you were born into a particular family system, you were dealt cards, like a hand of cards. I'm like, hey, do the best you can with that hand. That's it. And what I realized with therapy and with these strategies is that not only could I get a new hand, I could get a new deck. I could make up an entirely new game, which is basically what I did. I had this aha moment in therapy and employing many relationship experts in my long life. And that aha moment was exactly what I turned into the downloaded blueprints and all of these strategies that I teach people, which is that how it was for my parents was not how it needed to be for me. And that blank screen, that blank canvas idea that I could actually draw, paint, create a totally different life experience than my parents had, that was actually aligned with my heart's desire, I became completely obsessed. When I got it in my mind through therapy that it was possible, I became completely obsessed with actually making it happen. I used to think that love was only for the lucky, right? You had to be in the right place at the right time. Lady Luck had to shine her light on you or whatever. And I realize now, of course, that that is not true and that it has nothing actually to do with luck. And I don't even say I'm lucky anymore. I say I'm blessed because it has everything to do with psychology. So there's my husband, there's my heart's desire, there's my soulmate. And I have 20 years of experience. After I met Vic, once I revealed my own downloaded limiting blueprint in therapy about my mother, which I told you, and about my parents' marriage, as soon as I rewrote that blueprint, as soon as I created my own blueprint, within 4 months of creating that, actually writing it down, I met Vic. And on the second date, I called my mother. And keep in mind, people, up until this point, I was always like, I'm not getting married. Like, it's cool. I'm not into it. It's fine. I'm going to have 17 careers. I'll have lovers. It's all good. I was afraid to want what I didn't know how to create. So I just said I didn't want it. On the second date, I called my mother and she said, I said, you're not going to believe this, Mom. And she said, you're totally going to marry this guy. And I was like, I am. It's so weird. He's got 3 teenage boys who are hell and acting out and terrible. He lives in New Jersey. Like, wow, how could he be the perfect person for me? And yet he was. So then from that point forward, I've basically done 20 years of deep diving in the trenches with my clients, because once I realized I could have it, I want everyone to have it. I want all of you to have it. This thing that I know is possible now. It's just so beautiful, and it's not for the lucky. It's for everyone, and anyone is willing to do the work. So, oh, there's my, that's a, wow, God, this, oh, why do we use that picture? It's so old. Anyway, so there's a picture from 18 years ago. How you doing? And although I do look similar, I'm a slightly skinnier. Actually, this is a good picture. This picture is great. So there's me and Vic and the boys. They're cuter now and much older. But that's my tribe. That's my found family. That's my destiny right there. Now, part of what we did in this process before the 20 years of research, when I was figuring out my own blueprint, is taking these unconscious beliefs from the basement of your mind to the main part of the house, right? The conscious mind. When you do that, and you can talk about them and write about them and have them witnessed, this removes most of the charge. Why do we care about removing the charge? We care about removing the charge because then it will stop your compulsion to repeat this unsatisfying pattern. So if you look at your love life, if it hasn't worked out the way that you've wanted it to, or if you're in a marriage and you feel like you're sort of repeating some similar negative qualities to your parents' marriage, you can actually change that, because that's a downloaded blueprint that as you start to ask these empowered questions, you can change what it is that is driving your behavior, but the only way to change it is to be aware of it. This is how we stop repeating crappy realities that we hate. This is how we do it. So if you look at anyone's life and your own life, you guys will be able to see these patterns. Anyone who's ever done a genealogy chart, you will see families do the same thing. How um, behavioral patterns in families are so prevalent. So you have the families who the brothers don't talk for 40 years, and then they talk on the one's deathbed, and then he dies. Like, you'll actually see the way that people interact, families with multiple affairs at the same time, right? So you have these anniversary dates where you start being aware of, if your parent had an affair at the age of 38, you want to be aware when you turn 38, if you start feeling a little dissatisfied with your marriage, it may not be your marriage. It may just be this unconscious anniversary date that you're not aware of. So we bring this up into the conscious mind so you can go, oh no, that's just my unconscious mind. It's fine. I'm not really unhappy. I mean, unless you are unhappy, you know. So how do you expand your worthiness and amplify all that is good? By getting the unconscious limiting beliefs about your worthiness up and out. So much of the time, parents did this to us. They didn't mean to. People at school did it. Bad teachers, terrible coaches, music teachers who are mean. Whatever your experience was that planted something in your young life, I promise you, back to the going backwards with the dots, you can find an experience that planted the seed of you not being good enough. Or maybe you were raised in a family system where they constantly pitted you against another sibling, or one person was very favored over the other. And all of that is planting lack of worthiness in you. And so your job, it's not about, those of you who are single, it's not about finding the one and going out and calling in the one or being subservient to your man or whatever it is. It's knowing yourself. This deep dive is inside of you. Awareness is the key to transforming your limiting love, success, and your worthiness blueprint. Those of you who struggle with your own confidence and feeling worthy of the mind-blowing love that you desire, I promise you, if you go back in time and do a little digging in that basement of your mind, you're going to find a bag of crap, which is some experience that is making the rest of your house stink. So no matter how much you clean or how much Febreze you do in the main part of the house, if you don't get to the original injury, there's not enough Febreze to make that smell go away. That was a terrible analogy.
That was a perfect analogy.
But you guys get it, right? So this brings us to where you are. You have two choices. Maybe you have 200 choices. But in my estimation, doing what I've done for 2 decades, I feel like there are 2 paths to go on. You can do it the hard way, which is complicated, labor intensive, and time consuming. Like, it could take years or lifetimes. It could be like in the next life that you figure it out, as opposed to taking weeks or months to figure out, to uncover this material and basically get the toxic stickiness off of it. Or you can do something simple, specific, and strategic. And I will be your personal love Sherpa, as I have been for little Miss Kate right here.
Thank you, Terri.
You're welcome. So we're unveiling right now with you guys. You are the first people who are seeing this. It is the first time it's happening. The real love revolution is happening right now, and you have an opportunity to join us. So the fastest, most effective way to change these downloaded blueprints is basically to reveal what's not working and why. Get rid of the old crap, the baggage, the memories, all the stuff that is not serving you is the stuff that just needs to go away. We're creating new neural pathways in your brain, right? So we're rewiring, right? Repetitive thought patterns create neural pathways, as do other things. In this course, this opportunity that you have, we're rewiring the ones that don't work so that you can actually successfully incorporate new behaviors in your life that are aligned with what you want. This is your chance to rewrite your love story, your success story, because everything that I'm teaching you has to do with you. It's really not only about, even though we talk about love, but it's for people who are married and for people who are single. And the testimonials of people who've basically taken the course we did last year, which was about 5 weeks instead of 10, were people where their business is completely changed. So you want to create and fuel healthy, long-lasting, healthy behaviors, right? And you guys, it's not magic. It's psychology. So you're sick of these same patterns and being in the same fight. Do you want to be that couple that's in the same fight for 50 years or in the same situation in your business for the next 50 years? Because don't you have these repeating realities? Think about it. I know you do. So you have the opportunity to join us. This is one powerful group of women, and we will rebuild the foundation for real love, but it really all starts with self-love, right? So the course itself, and Kate, you know this, but I'm just going to tell them because they don't know.
Yeah.
About because you've basically done the course privately with Terri.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I love you. You was good. You were a little bit of a guinea pig, but it all worked out.
Yeah,
so it's good.
It's great.
So the first pillar is self-awareness. So each pillar, we spend 2 weeks on the pillars. What do you need to figure out? What we've been talking about. You learn what your downloaded love blueprint contains, because how can you change it if you don't know what it is? Learn how your childhood experiences impact the way you feel about yourself, worthiness, and your lovability, which includes your success. How successful do you believe you can be? Do you deserve to be? And then we do a deep dive into your past to uncover where you may have developed these blocks so long ago. So that's 2 juicy weeks of self-awareness. The next pillar is 2 juicy weeks of self-knowledge. We have to unpack all of your past romantic relationships to discover any unresolved material. Because these are things that so much of the time people will be like, that was so long ago. Why do I have to still talk about it? It's happened when I was 10, 15, 20, 25. The truth is, if they were never witnessed, they could absolutely be driving and informing your behavior right now in a way that you don't want it to be. Identify habitual dysfunctional love patterns, which once you answer all of the questions in the blueprints will be easy. Recognize your own hidden resistance so that you can avoid self-sabotaging behaviors. So this is something, and we cover it pretty heavily in the course, is about change and how people are afraid to change because it's scary, and that you may be getting in your own way because you don't want to be kicked out of the tribe, right?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly what you would experience. The third pillar is self-acceptance. So being in acceptance of exactly where you are right now and what you've experienced in your life to date. This is crucial and essential for actually creating your heart's desire. We can't create something real from a false history, from a false memory. We have to actually excavate all that junk. And it doesn't, hey, the course is only in 10 weeks. It's not like your whole life, man. It took me 25 years. So like it's really quick, comparatively speaking. But you kind of have to do it. So people are always looking for the bypass, for the secret pill, for the quick fix, you know? But the truth is, we got to go to the basement of your mind to get this stuff, right? That bag of junk is down there and stinking up the rest of your house. We got to get it. And then you're going to learn to flip the script on negative self-talk and thoughts. And this is something that I teach that resonates with you. It's not a very cookie cutter, like I never liked affirmations. I always thought they didn't work and they were corny, but I figured out a way to make them uncorny. You're gonna love it. The fourth pillar is self-compassion. And how do you have self-compassion? Stop doing a ton of crap that you don't want to do. That's called learning to draw effective boundaries with love, with ease, with grace, not being mean. And actually, you will learn how drawing effective boundaries, speaking authentically, stop saying yes when you want to say no, right? That's the most loving you can ever be with people because you're letting them see who you actually are. So we're going to cure the people-pleasing syndrome for good because it's a nightmare. And I'm going to give you basically a boundary sheet dictionary because I can't tell you how many times in my therapeutic practice people have said, I was in my boss's office, I was right there, I was just about to say the thing we said I was going to say, and I couldn't remember the words. I didn't have the words. And so I've written an entire dictionary so that you'll always have the words to actually, with love, with kindness, gently draw your boundaries, because that's the most loving thing you can ever do for yourself.
It's so amazing and valuable.
So amazing and valuable. And the last pillar is self-love. And this is really to learn the power of real self-love by dating yourself, which is so fun. This is like when the last 2 weeks are like awesome. We're basically having a continuous party, although you're still learning, don't worry. You discover the power of the guided visualizations, and you'll be doing a continued meditation because that's part of the course. I created therapeutic meditations for you, which I'll tell you about in a second, so that your love light continues to shine super bright, because so much of the time it's not about you changing. Those of you who are single and actually want to be in a relationship, it's about removing all of the crap that has been layering up on your love light through this misinformation, through this wrong information over the many years. And what we do in this course is we're basically removing one layer of crud at a time. And when we're done, your love light becomes so bright, you become like the lighthouse. And instead of you feeling like you need to find someone, your beloved can find you. Mm. And then we're also going to find love mentors, right? For secrets to success, which is so much fun. Like Kate found her love mentors. I've got Fred and Alice, who are my love mentors. They live down the road. They've been married 58 years. They're just the cutest. So let's talk a little bit about what you will get in this course. It's 100% online. So it is the comfort of your own couch, people. It's 10 weeks of video modules, 10 plus integration exercises, which that's like such an underestimated amount because there's like 40, but whatever. There's a lot of integration exercises. It won't take 7,000 hours a week, but there are a lot of things for you to do because it's totally personalized to you. 10 integration exercises, like I just said, and more, 10 live calls for laser coaching. So this is where it gets really personalized, where you actually are with me for an hour a week as a group. The therapeutic meditations, you have 10 of those, and then you have the private Facebook group that I'll be in on a daily basis. So you're really being mentored by me. And I will be clear and say this is not therapy, obviously, because we're not doing online therapy with a bunch of people. This is therapeutically based because of my career, and it really is an online coaching group. And then the last thing is surprise and gifts and bonuses from some of our fancy friends, including Kate. It's so fun. So the last thing I want to say about it is that you came here for a reason. There's no coincidences. I don't care how you came upon Kate's link. I have faith that there's a reason. And the question I just want you to ask yourself is, whatever it is that's frustrating you or eluding you in your life, if you don't do something different now, and I'm not saying it has to be this course, I'm just saying the truth. If you don't do something different now, what will be different in 1 year from now? You will be in the same exact situation, complaining about the same things, feeling unfulfilled in the same ways that you're feeling right now. So that is a really important question to ask yourself. So many of the women who did this was like our pre-course last year to figure out how we were going to build it. And if you stay on the call until the very end, there'll be all of their testimonials about what happened in their lives are going to be on there with them actually talking about it. But so many of them, their gratitude was about being in a completely different place. And that course was only 5 weeks. This course is 10 weeks, and people got engaged, found their beloved, got pregnant, changed their businesses, up-leveled every part of their life, sold homes that they couldn't sell for like 3 years prior to taking the course. Because when your internal energy changes and when you up-level what you think that you deserve in your life inside, you up-level your entire life. So you came here for a reason.
If this is sounding appealing to you, I would invite you to go over to terricole.com/real love revolution, and that will also be in the question box for you. So if you decide that this sounds really good to you and you want to take action today, I'm going to offer you to take my course, Feng Shui for Financial Freedom, which has an entire section devoted to how to set up your home to attract optimal love and also success. And it also talks about how to attract fame and reputation and your career area and all the different areas. But there is an entire section devoted to love and relationship. And Feng Shui is honestly the closest thing to magic I can teach you. And apparently psychology is the closest thing to magic that Terri can teach you. So with those two things, you're going to be all set. And this is one of my favorite courses because it's just the results people get are phenomenal.
I love it.
So you'll get that for free if you decide to take action with Terri today during our live session. You'll also get with me a love and success incubator. So when you are wanting to amp it up in the bedroom and in the boardroom, in your love and success areas of your life, it has to do with the second chakra of your body, which is your untapped, infinite inner power source that will give you the ability to get what you want when it comes to love and when it comes to success. So this 4-week incubator will be an exclusive private group with me and 3 live streams where I'm going to support you in incubating your desires around love and success this year. And then you're also going to get a customized desire mapping and white hot truth workshop that's really customized for real love revolutionaries with our dear friend Danielle Laporte, and you're going to learn how to create goals with soul. So those are all available to you in addition to the incredible course that Terri is offering if you decide to take action today. So here's the deal. Relationship coaching is expensive. So let's say you were going to do a year of relationship coaching 1 time a week. It would cost you, let's say, about $10,000.
Yep.
Okay, and if you were to do it for 2 to 5 years, we're talking between $19,000 and $40,000, somewhere in there. So this is like big money, right? If you were to do private one-on-one coaching. I've gotten it for free. I'm so grateful, Terri. But I have hired other relationship coaches and therapists, and like it's pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can all agree.
That costs a lot of money.
If you want to take Terri's course, it is one payment only of $997, where you're going to get 10 weeks of incredible content and support to create the love that you desire. And if you do the single payment today, it also includes 3 additional VIP video small group calls. Like it's one of those ones where you can all see each other. So it is small, it's private. So that's one option. And again, the link is at the bottom of the slide. And then the other option is there's a flexible plan for only $97 a month. So it's for 12 payments, 1 per month. And that's the flexible payment plan to make this course. Because, you know, Terri, like you said, you want this course to be available. You want real love to be available for everyone. And it is available for everyone. And so I love that you made it so affordable.
Yes, and giving away, right now, we've been giving away so much free content, and we have a Facebook group right now that people can come in, which will be a different Facebook group. Obviously, once the course starts, we'll have a different private Facebook group for those in the course. But my feeling is I want this to be available for everyone, which is why we did the long payment plan, because everyone deserves this kind of revolutionary love and up-leveling of all parts of their life, don't they?
Yes, and it really does create such a solid foundation for every area of your life. So this is what the checkout page looks like when you head over there. So you'll see that when you go over. And there is a money-back guarantee. So if you do the work and you're still not satisfied, you can have a 30-day money-back guarantee. I love that you stand behind your work, Terri.
I sure do.
Because it's awesome.
And because it works. If you work it, not to be in the rooms, but it's true.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. So the total value of the course, if you include all of the bonuses and the interviews from industry leaders, is over $7,000, close to $8,000. Mm-hmm. And to be perfectly honest, I'm just going to say, as a total cheese ball, the value of having real solid love in your life is like you cannot put a price tag on that.
It is priceless.
And it uplifts everything, like we said. So here's what's going to happen next. You're going to enroll if you feel called, and you'll get an email from Terri within the next day or so with links to the private groups, one with Terri and one with me, and the bonuses that you qualify for. And then the content begins, so the 5 pillars, that 10 weeks of content begins February 1st. And between now and then, you're going to have my private love and success incubator with the live streams to amp up your love and success power so that when the content begins February 1st, you're going to be totally ready to rock. So we're going to support you all the way until the real love revolution officially begins.
Yes, it'll be like you're in the East Village with Kate and I in my basement apartment drinking green juice.
Yeah,
for the next 5 months.
Yeah. That sounds great to me. I'm moving in. So we have the fast action bonuses that we talked about, and they are available to you while this counter is going. And so if you have questions, we're here. So we're going to do Q&A now. These are some of the beautiful people who love Terri, like me. And you can ask us your questions. Go ahead and type them into the question box. And our beautiful friend David is going to support us with that. Okay, great. So Patricia asks, Patricia says, actually, I think that luck is everything in love and business. Women who have families have such confidence because they have not been alone much. That is a belief in what I have experienced. I stopped repeating realities by stopping all relationships with men. It's not what I want. How do you get past the fear of being slammed once again?
Well, you have to work on it. You have to be willing. Part of it is you have to be willing to let me guide you and have faith that if I've done this for 2 decades and that, Patricia, your story is unique and yet everyone has a story, and that whatever has happened in your life, you still deserve to have real love, and it's still totally possible. The thing for you is really getting rid of the downloaded, that imprint of your experience. And I don't mean it like being foolhardy or ignoring it. I mean learning what you need to learn, taking the gems from those crappy situations, and then actually constructing a new blueprint. And it's step by step by step. None of this is magic. The way the course is laid out is very small baby steps every single week, and we're together basically for 10 weeks straight. So that's how I think that you do it. I think I answered it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Heidi has a question. I love this question, Heidi. It's so real and honest. What does it mean when we feel awful, like grouchy, when our mother wants to help us with small things like holding the baby? P.S. If you have a brand new baby, you don't need people to come over and hold the baby. You need them to do the laundry, cook you food.
Yep.
Don't ever offer somebody with a newborn to come hold the baby. That is the last thing they need help with. I'm just saying. Anyway, when our mother wants to help us with small things like holding the baby or giving water to my dog, when we want to prove that we can do it all without her because she hasn't been there to help in several years. Mm-hmm. In other words, rejecting help is one thing, but getting mad is something else. Is it worse? How can we determine what we prefer, whether to do most things ourselves or to be vulnerable and let others help us?
You know what, Heidi? That's such a good question. This is what I said. This is where you learn to communicate authentically and with kindness and love. So if you've decided that it's okay for your mom to be in your baby's life, and that's okay, right? Of course you can do it yourself. You don't need to prove squat to anyone. Let her help you in the way that it will actually be helpful, not in the way that perhaps she would like to help you. So ask for what would be helpful and let her do those things. If she wants to hold the baby, be clear that that's what she wants, and maybe you will let her do it and maybe not. But if she wants to help, then you be clear about making a simple request of what that looks like.
It's great. It's right back to that clear communication thing, which you have helped me with so much, and that, your Bible of boundary setting phrases.
Yes. And hey, man,
I want that.
If she doesn't listen, if your mom doesn't sort of abide by what you're saying and still wants to do her own thing, meaning she wants you to go back to the old dance, then you can opt out. And then you can not, quote unquote, let her help you, because it's not helping you if it doesn't feel like help, right? It just makes her feel good and makes you mad.
Yeah. Okay. So what if when you reach out and say you need help, people don't help?
Well, now there's a pattern. So there's a reason people are not helping. And we just need to figure out what that reason is. You have to talk about how are you asking for help, right? What is your history? You have a downloaded blueprint about asking for help as well. So if you ask for help and someone doesn't actually do it, do you do a follow-up ask? Do you say, hey, that hurt my feelings that you didn't help? I asked. It was hard for me to ask. Here's the thing. When we first start learning to communicate and ask to get our needs met, it can be very challenging because the other people in our lives are basically still stuck on that old dance floor of the old dance that we used to do. So I almost need more follow-up info. But did I do that question? Was that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay, great. What am I doing? Okay. We will receive guidance on how to communicate when we're undergoing and learning in the course with our partner. Absolutely. Megan, yes. That's what that's one of the biggest pillars is the communication, drawing boundaries, authentic. Mm-hmm. So yes, you will, and you'll have a chance in the live stream to actually give the examples ahead of time of like, what did he say? What did you say? What do you need help saying? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, there'll be very specific hands-on guidance. I'll be coaching you right every step of the way. Approximately how many hours a week should I plan for? Asked Michelle. So my feeling is you have the hour live stream. So that's 1 hour. And I would say the work itself is probably an additional 2 hours. But what we're doing, Michelle, is we're making small changes on the daily. And so a lot of it is you adding 5 minutes to your morning, 10 minutes to your morning. I made these beautiful therapeutic meditations for you guys for every single week so that we're going to be targeting your conscious and your unconscious mind. So that you don't self-sabotage, and so that even when you're sleeping, that you've got these new ideas and possibilities in your mind. So it isn't going to be, it doesn't have to be like 3 hours all in one sitting. So I'm adding everything up and saying approximately 3 hours a week. All right, so Roberta wants to know, I'm an underachiever who signs up for courses and doesn't complete them. I'd like to break this pattern but need help. Will there be support in the course if I ask to be accountable? Oh, Roberta, yes. There's so much accountability in this course and so much interaction. And if you're in the, you're probably not because you're coming through Kate, but the Facebook group that we have right now, there's so much accountability right there. And it's just a free Facebook group where.
And I will send an email to this group if you register for this webinar. I'll make sure in the follow-up email with the replay, you will receive a link to that Facebook group that you can bring.
Yeah, please do. So yes, yes, yes. Because you know what? I don't want you, Roberta, I don't want your money if you're not going to do the course, and that's the God's honest truth. I want you to be one of my testimonials next year saying, I used to be an underachiever, and now I'm killing it, and I'm super psyched. Now, Lorna wants to know, what are the fast action bonuses again?
So they were the Feng Shui for Financial Freedom, the course that I teach about how to set your house up optimally for love and success. It's also the Love and Success Incubator, which is a private group with me, with a private Facebook group that you'll get access to, as well as 3 live streams where I'll support you in your love and success dreams for 2017 before Terri's course actually gets started February 1st. And then it's the customized Desire Map and White Hot Truth workshop with Danielle Laporte. And for the next 7 minutes and change, those fast action bonuses are available on this webinar if you go to terricole.com/Real Love Revolution and join the Real Love Revolution.
Right on. Be revolutionary. Next, Amanda wants to know, how do you rewire neural pathways? I understand the theory, but what is the specific technique? Can you give an example? Yes, I can. So Amanda, these part of neural pathways, repetitive thoughts and actions deepen the neural pathways, right? Which is how you can, neural pathways are how you can drive and not know, like not be looking at a map, basically, right? You just know how to get there. It's an ingrained route in your mind. So how do we change those? I use in the course, I'm teaching some cognitive behavioral techniques. Like one is called the rubber band trick, where if you, let's say it's around negative self-talk, and your default position is speaking to yourself negatively and with a harsh tone, I'll have you I'll teach you how to do it in the group. You put on the rubber band, and the awareness that you will gain from doing the daily meditations will give you a little bit of space so that now you can recognize this mean self-talk as something that you can choose not to do. It'll give you about an additional 1 to 2 seconds. And in that time, then I ask you to snap the rubber band so that you will feel a little discomfort. So now we're creating something new. And instead of going into that old neural pathway, because you are very pain adverse as a human being, you will not want to snap that band. And every time you have a negative thought, you'll snap it and then create a positive statement, saying something nice, something that resonates with you. So that's one way of how you do it. But there's other techniques that we're going to be using to actually rewire your brain. Megan wants to know, will we receive guidance on how to communicate what we're undergoing and learning in the course with our partner? Oh, yes. And actually, we have a great example from the last group who went through this, my guinea pigs who I love, 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 where you can share some of the content. None of the Facebook group, nothing that is private will be shared, obviously, with your spouse. But you can share some of the exercises, the integration exercises with your spouse. And I will absolutely help give you the language to create that.
And I also see somebody's asked, are the bonuses available for the monthly payments? And the answer to that is yes. So the fast action bonuses are available if you do the monthly payments. The only thing that's not available are that additional 3 live VIP videos or video chats, group coaching with Terri. But other than that, the fast action bonuses are available even if you do the payment plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then So Amanda had asked, do we have scholarships?
We are going to be putting scholarships out there. I think that there's a bunch of them, but we haven't released them yet because this is the first webinar we're doing. And someone said the page was not found. You got it?
Okay, page is found. The page is found. My live stream, Sabrina, for my group, I actually have not determined yet. I think they're going to be on Wednesdays, probably around 2, but Eastern time. I cannot say that for sure, but I will let you know in the emails. And of course, those live streams, in order to accommodate different time zones, what I'm going to be doing is having a hashtag in the group. So you would ask your question using the hashtag, and then I'm not going to answer the questions that come on live. I'm actually going to answer the questions that are asked with the hashtag ahead of time, so you can get your question answered whether you can be there live or not, and then watch the live stream.
Right. So you give them a replay after.
Exactly.
Right.
I think that we got that. Yeah, we got that question. We got these ones as well. So we've gotten all the questions so far. What other questions might you have? We are here and available for you. So go ahead and type them into the question box. We have just a little under 3 minutes left, and we're here, and we'd love to chat. Relationships or questions about the course.
And you guys, if you're really like considering it, if you're on the fence, stay on and watch the testimonials. It's a beautiful, like 15-minute little video of people just telling their heartfelt experience of transformation. And so many of them were so hardcore. One of the people, and you see her because she's pregnant in her little video, Dia, she's so cute, but she had been trying to get married and wanting to look for a partner for so long. Do we talk about that? Okay. Stop pointing that. And in the course, after she revealed this thing that was blocking her that she was completely unaware of, once it came up and out, within a short 4 months, I think it was, after the course, she met her person, her +1, as she liked to call it, her partner in crime, which is what she'd been looking for. And 2 months after that, she was pregnant, and she just had baby, a little boy who's so freaking cute. Anyway, that's one of the stories that this is why I do it, you guys. You are everything to me. Your happiness, I want you to have it. I want you to have what you want, right?
Megan asks, I'm 25 and in an entry-level job in my field. I'm in a long-term relationship trying to be better in it. Is this, of course, a good fit for me, in your opinion?
I say yes, it is. You're in a, hold on.
She's in a long-term relationship and trying to be better in it.
Yes, because what we'll unpack is why you think you're not being good in it, and what blueprint you had that showed you what a good or bad relationship was. And then together we'll create one that lights you up.
Yeah, and I see we do have some folks joining the course, and I would love to welcome you. Oh, Shannon, the course is $997 if you do one payment and $97 a month if you do 12 payments over a year. So we have people coming in. I want to welcome you, so please type into the question box. Hi, Sue. Welcome. We're so excited to have you. Margie asks, how do you overturn overfunctioning? So I'd be curious, it's probably too big of a question, but in your quick version, Terri, how do you overturn overfunctioning?
Well, part of it is your awareness, right? So we would actually go through the pillars. You have to be aware that you're doing it, so you want to stop. Then you have to have the knowledge of where you're doing it the worst, right? Then you move into accepting that that's what it's been. Then you move into having compassion for yourself about doing it. It's okay. Somebody taught you how to do it. You can unlearn it. Anything you learned, you can unlearn. And that's how we move it through in the course. You have your first and most important thing is basically wanting it to be different, wanting to stop the action, right? That's the most important thing that you have. So, and you already have that. And that's all you need. I promise you, you need a willingness. We're so excited. Oh my God, you guys, so many of you are so cute.
Welcome, Susan. Welcome, Jen. Welcome, Aspa. Patty has asked, could we see the testimonials before we commit? And Patty, I think that is a totally reasonable request.
Absolutely.
So what we'll do is we'll keep the fast action bonuses open until 6:45 Eastern time.
Yes.
And that will give you plenty of time to watch the testimonials. So as long as you make the commitment by 6:45 p.m. Eastern time, you can absolutely get those bonuses. And Jennifer says, I can't wait for Real Love Revolution to start. Thanks for offering this amazing opportunity. Jennifer and Jen and Aspa and Susan and Sue and all the others who joined. We're so excited.
Oh my God, I'm
to be
so
with
excited.
you. And I think that's it for us. We're going to turn it over to the testimonials.
Is that what we're doing?
Is that it?
Oh my God, we can't wait to spend the next year of our life with you. We love you.
Thanks everyone for coming on.
Thank
This was so much
you.
fun.
I'm Danielle Laporte, and I'm a writer and a philosopher. She's peeled me off the street sometimes, and that street of grief and confusion, and you just always want Terry's take on the situation, because clarity. It's when you have that capacity to see and to analyze and to dissect and to name it and to claim it, and to do that rooted in love. I mean, that is a very rare combination. If you see her in person, there's this luminosity about her, and I think that that shine can only happen with that skill and compassion. That's the light that she has. Yeah, it's beautiful. She is actually educated, and she has worked with high-level celebrities. She's worked with addictive personalities. I know she's worked with like superstar business people and single moms. Terri Cole is so awesome that when I am in my depths of despair, the worst time of my life, and I need like the stress cigarette, she actually stood out in the cold with me, and I'm like having my stress smoke, and Terry's like standing there with me, talking me through it. Terri is a real love person. You know, her relationship that she has with her husband is, for a lot of us, aspirational. How she is just deeply accepting of who her person is at his core, how she is consistently and constantly encouraging him, and she does all of that in that relationship without losing herself. Do you want to have a fulfilling relationship? This would be a great idea. You know, do you want to stay locked in your loneliness or your terror of intimacy? Do you want to keep repeating patterns and family of origin shit and get locked down in the same grid with the same kind of picking the same person over and over again? Like, then you don't have to do this. Or do you really want to know what real love is?
I am ever so grateful to Terri Cole and the Real Love Revolution for helping me live my dreams. Not only finding my person, my plus one, my partner in crime, but becoming a mom and creating a life with that partner. I would recommend this program to any woman anywhere in the world who is looking to live the life of their dreams. Once I decided to flip the script and I had done the actual work of the Real Love Revolution, shortly thereafter, I met my person. I knew very early on in the relationship that it was going places. It felt very easy. And then in March of this year, we found out that we were expecting a baby together.
I'm tearing because, you know, those of us in the transformation field, and I think everybody knows, love is the most important thing. And it's what we all so want. It's what we all so crave. I really know the value of getting to those layers where you really, really understand what loving yourself is and what it means in all areas of your life. When I was a kid, about a lot of yelling and fighting in my home and a lot of like just challenges growing up as a kid. And they were coming up for me as a mother. And I was like replaying these ways of being that I so did not want to be. And I remember reaching out to Terri and being like, this is so important to me. I need to be able to have those skills that I can be conscious and present and loving, because I want so much for my kids to be able to have a mother that loves herself that is an example of what a real beautiful, deep, and loving marriage can be, but that they also feel loved. It's easy to be transformational on stage, and it's easy to be transformational in a one-on-one, 1 hour session. But I wanted to learn to be this way on the area of my life that really matters, that 24/7 relationship that takes me to my peak place of losing it. And how do I not lose it, or when I lose it, in a way that it can be something that's actually going to be transformative. And I remember calling her and being like, I can't do this. I need help. Like, this is just, I'm not doing it well. I'm losing. I'm not being the person I want to be. And she just, like I said before, she has this way of just saying, okay, let's pause. Like, it's not as bad as you are seeing it. Let's get to what's real. And now let's make some real steps. Let's really take some action. I went into this like, everything's awful. I'm a horrible person and this is terrible. And because I trust her so much, because she has a family she's raising, because she's been through so much, I trust her with my whole heart. And she is the person that I always go to in these times when I really, really need an answer in an area that means everything to me. She's always there and always has a way of getting me back to my heart, where I know the real change happens.
I remember the first time, before I even met her, I saw her speak. And she was just this glorious, like, mother, incredibly powerful, grounded, eloquent figure. And one of my favorite things about Terri has always been her voice. Like, literally the sound of her voice is so soothing. It draws you in. But then you hear the things that she's saying and you're like, yes, it's not just the sound of the voice, the words that are coming out of this mouth are so good and so valuable. People throw around the word authentic a lot, but when you find it and it hits you, you know it. And Terri is that kind of person. She lives her message. Terri is a friend of mine, so I've gotten to spend time around her and her husband Vic and to see their relationship. You know, I have a handful of relationships in my life that I look up to, and Terri and Vic are probably number one on the list. But also, you know, I've had conversations with Terri about my own relationship. I've seen her help other friends of ours, and she brings that grounded spirituality. She brings that knowledge from the psychology. She brings her transformational coaching background, as well as having worked with so many different types of people. She's also real. Terri has a way of shooting things to you straight and being very direct, but it's packaged in so much love and so much care for your outcome and your results that I believe that's really what magnetizes people like me and others to her. It's because you can feel that. You can feel that pull of someone who is the real deal, which is why the course is called Real Love. What does Terri mean to me? Well, here you go. She's a really important friend in my life. She's a person who you really could just be yourself with and share anything. Zero judgment. That's really the best part. This is a person who can just hold space for anything. And when it comes to love, that's a lot of stuff. You can lay it all out with Terri, and she's going to love you through it. She's going to help you through it. And she always has, like, sage advice, wisdom, and counsel.
Hey, I'm Carrie Glassman. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist, and I live in New York City. Right now, I need a little dose of Terri, and when I say that, what I mean is there's just this calming, soulful, amazing vibe that Terri gives you whenever you speak with her. It's also everything that actually comes out of her mouth is also just so incredibly intelligent and poignant and just always hits home with whatever you need at that moment. So if I'm explaining how I'm feeling about something or I'm talking to her about a situation, it's her energy about it is always right on, where it makes you feel calm and comforted. Whatever she gives you, it's something you can really use and you immediately feel better. Terry's just different in the way that it's her energy and her vibe and her just natural being and her presence is different. It's not something I think that you can teach somebody how to be. It's just really who a person is. And for her, it's truly who she is. She makes you feel so safe that you want to open up and you want to look deeper. You want to dig deeper into who you are and what's going on with you. You want to grow and you want to learn from her. Terri is just the person to lead people on this real love revolution because she embodies real love. If you're looking to make a change, if you're looking to transform, if you're looking to grow, personally grow and have that growth and really look inside yourself and develop as a person, this program I think would be a great program for you to do because you can reach Terri. You can actually connect with her and not have to, know her personally or be able to sit with her in her apartment in New York City. You can actually work directly with her from wherever you are in the world, and it is a life-changing opportunity.
Hi, I'm Gala Darling. I'm a writer and speaker, and I'm from New Zealand, but I've been living in New York for the last 8 years. I came to Terri because even though I've done a lot of work on my own psychology and my own self-love, I wanted to look at things from a more therapeutic and professional standpoint. And I also wanted someone who could reassure me about things, like if I had questions, she would let me know whether I was being sane or not. She's a really good sounding board for me, and I really trust her advice on everything implicitly. Terri is able to help me notice my own behavior when it's like before it's happening, actually, so I can have some distance and then choose a different response, which is really amazing. And she also has this amazing series of meditations that I love, which I listen to all the time, and it really just gets me in this very positive mindset and helps me refocus where I want to head on any given day. I think Terri is the right person to lead women on this path because her approach is very no bullshit, and the stuff that she teaches really works. And I know that from my own experience. Everything that she's suggested to me that I've tried, I see instant results with, and you can't get that everywhere, and I think that that's worth paying attention to and investing in. I really encourage you to join Terri's program because when there's something in your life that's not working and you don't know where to begin to fix it, she will help you go into the sub-basement of your mind, find the thing that stinks, and help you excavate it so that you can enjoy your life. She is amazing. I cannot recommend her highly enough.
Hi, I'm Jessica Ortner, author of the New York Times bestseller, The Tapping Solution for Weight Loss and Body Confidence. Terri became my friend, but she also became my mentor. She became the person that I would go to when I was struggling with past relationships, when I was struggling to find my own voice and my confidence. On one side, she has the experience and the credentials. She has been a psychotherapist for years. And on the other side, there's this magic. Terri Cole has this magic to her. She has a way of looking at a problem and knowing exactly what to do so that you can get results as quickly as possible. She really is one of the best experts in the world to go to when you're looking to make a transformation. She's not going to sugarcoat things. She's going to give you what you need. And oftentimes she does this in a way that makes you laugh or that makes you go, whoa, yes, that's exactly what I needed to hear. So there's been many times in my life when I've needed a friend, and Terri has been that person who didn't give me the answer I wanted. She gave me the answer that I needed. And I know that's what she can do for other people. I know that's what she does do for other people. She's going to give you what you need to make the changes that you really desire. She has blessed my life in so many ways. She has been the friend who is always honest with me, who is always there anytime I need her.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Brown. Last year, I started to recognize that there were some challenges in my marriage, and I realized that I really needed some tools to figure out how to improve it. I was spreading my energy and my love around to non-priority people in my life, and the more I began to create awareness around that with Terri and the group's help, the more I recognized how much I was doing it, I was able to get the tools to create boundaries around that, to be really clear with my time, to be really clear with my voice and my words. It's incredible what has unfolded with us as a result. Our conversations are deeper. Our laughs are even harder. It's hard work, don't get me wrong, to kind of create those boundaries and to not be the people pleaser. It's challenging, but I'm seeing the direct results. To attract more love into your life, who doesn't want that? I have tools in my toolbox now that I will use for the rest of my life. I highly recommend it, and I am so grateful for Terri and the group I was able to share all of this incredible vulnerability with.
I chose to take the Real Love course with Terri Cole because I'm familiar with her work. I actually took a group coaching class with her last year, and after that, my life opened up so much. Personally and professionally, things just took off after working with Terri. So I knew that if I were to take this Real Love course with her, it would help me open up my mind and, more importantly, my heart towards life, towards love, and of course, relationships. And I was excited to see where the journey would take me. I will always be grateful to Terri because she saw my potential. And from there, she was able to give me the practical tools that I needed in order to navigate through life successfully. So I would say that if you need help building your confidence and, negotiating for your own needs and setting healthy boundaries, more importantly, then this course is definitely for you. And really, if you just have this desire to create the life of your dreams and the relationships that you want, then sign up. Sign up right now, I would say. And I can't wait for you to experience the Terri Cole magic for yourself. And it's going to be an amazing ride. I can tell you that much.
Hey, are you guys still here? We are. How do you change how that looks? Sorry, technical something. There we go. All right. That was really humbling, can I tell you? Do you want to hit that or no? Are you saying that? That was actually, I've never seen that. Kate, had you ever seen any of those?
No.
Did it make you cry?
So beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, it just makes me so happy, people's success. So you guys, I hope that you like that. It was kind of embarrassing. I didn't see the whole thing, but because I felt weird. But it makes me happy, though, because I want you to have all of those things that those people were talking about because you deserve it. And we super appreciate your time. Can't wait to spend some time with you in the next couple of months because let's just start 2017 as your year that you started having revolutionary love and relationships in your life. Please. We will see you in the course.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
We love
everybody.
you.
Love you.